Hello everyone, welcome back to Naomi's Bookshelf. Today we're going to talk about my top 10 recommendations that you read during Buzzwordathon in August. So for Buzzwordathon, I have been doing this little series that I have been recommending books based on different buzzwords that are happening each month. This time it is time of day, whether it be a broad term or a very specific term. And I have tried to vary it like always, and it was kind of specific at times to a specific word. I have a lot of night books, as it turns out. So we're gonna I tried to vary it up, but we're gonna go through what I have. The first one I want to recommend is Endless Night by Agatha Christie. This one is a very unique one in my opinion for Agatha Christie, as it follows a married couple and there is no body. It is very different and it's very spooky and very different. It's something you shouldn't look up. I looked up the plot summary. I was like, what is going on with this? I tried actually looking up a character to figure out what her storyline was, and I spoiled myself for the ending. So please don't do that. Don't look up what I'm saying is, but read the story and just immerse yourself into it. It's very spooky and very immersive. It follows this couple and this very creepy poem as they move into this new house. It's very ambiance filled and it sets the stage very well. I do have two Agatha Christie's on this list, so I'm just going to go over the next one, and that is 450 from Paddington. This is my first Agatha Christie that actually got me into Agatha Christie. I had read a couple before that I remember reading, but this is the one that was like, ooh, Agatha Christie, I should read more. This one follows a woman named Miss Marple, but not really, because she actually has a friend who witnessed a murder happening on another train. And when she sees this murder, she talks to her friend, Miss Marple, and Miss Marple assigns young lady Lucy to go and visit these people and try to figure out what the actual murder could have been, what happened, if her friend saw something that was real, because no one actually believes it was real as the trains were passing each other at the same time. And it is very interesting. I really enjoyed it, and like I said, it got me into Agatha Christie, so I really recommend checking out this one. 450 from Paddington is a really good one in my opinion, and it's a very slow build, but it's a really interesting one to read. Next, I have a picture book series which is called Goodnight Our World by Adam Gamble. I believe this whole picture book series is by him, but at the very least he did Goodnight Canada, which is the one I have read. I believe he also did Goodnight Hawaii, which I have read or seen at least in a store. They are very cute and very, I think, informative about where they are. And I think he did Goodnight Mommy. They're just all so interesting and informative, but also really just fun to read and great to read at night. So if you're wanting a sweet and short picture book to read, also something that just is something simple for this readathon, Goodnight Our World is a great series to pick up. But also, if you're wanting something Canadian, Goodnight Canada is a great one to pick up as well. Another one is Midsummer Night's Dream. This one is obviously by William Shakespeare. I think this is a great play to read. It is full of fun and whimsy, but it's also full of a lot of undertones. It can be done seriously or very comedic wise. It's just really interesting. You can find a great radio drama of it if you were wanting to. There's lots available. You can also find a play of it online on YouTube. There's lots of people who have put out their plays of it. You could find a play from your local library, like a BBC version or something. So many options, and it is a really simple way to do it. You could read it physically if you would like as well. It's Shakespeare, so easy, I think, to read or to listen to or to watch, as it's meant to be ingested, and they're short. They're plays. It's like 2.5 hours if you really wanted to just invest the time. It does follow the story of 4 young people who end up in the forest over the course of one night. However, they are not alone in the forest, as there are fairies, there's a cast of actors there, and it is about basically a bunch of people in the forest, and it's a Midsummer Night's Dream of events. And that's all you really, I think, need to know. It's a lot of fun and it's worth checking out. A fun romance that you might want to check out is Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. I think this one counts as Eve is technically like New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve. It's a part of the day. Eve Brown is a great one in my opinion, as it followed this fun, vivacious young lady as she is trying to get a job and trying to show that she has commitment, but at the same time she doesn't know what she wants to commit to. It was a very interesting take, I think, on romance, with the male lead having autism and she, the female lead, being a woman of color and plus size, and having those marginalized people be the forefront of an amazing book for that. And I also really enjoyed how the characters worked with their marginalizations as opposed to against them. And I think it's a really great book. I really enjoyed that one. The tropes were also fun for me. I like the enemies to lovers of trope when it's done well, and I thought it was done well there. It's the best one of this trilogy for me. And in romance, I don't think you have to read them in order, because romance, you know they're gonna be together. So I think it's okay to read the final book in the series first if that's your first book in that series. Another series I would recommend would be Magic Treehouse series by Mary Pope Osborne. This series has so many books that have time of day in them, like Mummies in the Morning or Nights at Dawn or The Night at Dawn. So many. It's like Ninjas at Night. There's just so many titles like that because the kids go and see these people or these locations during certain parts of the day. Or what is that, something before breakfast? It's nonstop. So it's a lot of these events, and they're all really informative and really interesting about different parts of the world. And you can tell that Mary Pope Osborne has done her research into them. She also includes some nonfiction books sometimes alongside the books if you want to look out for those ones. I think it's very well done. The audiobooks are also very interesting and they're quick to fly through. They're like 45 minutes per audiobook, so even shorter if you wanted to physically read them. A Cry in the Night by Mary Higgins Clark is one that I am not a massive fan of, but I was able to fly through. So I think this is a really great mystery thriller if you are in the mood for that one. This one follows a woman who married very quickly, and she is pregnant at the beginning of the book, and then it flashes back to pre-marriage when she already has 2 children, but she meets this man and she gets married to him very fast, but there are some warning signs after the marriage, and even before, in my opinion, red flags as we would call them now. And you see them and she's kind of gaslighted. He's very abusive, he's very charming, but at the same time he's very controlling, and she's trying to get out. It's very, very gripping and very fast-paced, and I think in a lot of ways you could fly through it. It was very interesting to me. And I also remember a lot of talk in there about a lot of like chronic pain, which is something that's really interesting to me, and I was really happy for that. And it was also written in the 80s, so there is some talk in there, a lot of language, or some language, not a lot, but some, that is inappropriate or insensitive at this point. But it is written, you know, it's 40 years ago now, so it's a little outdated. However, still a really fast-paced read, really fast-paced mystery if you are interested in that. Maybe even more thriller, I would say, and I would recommend it. One nonfiction that I'd recommend would be Good Morning Monster by Katherine Gildener. This one is about 5 clients who she worked with through therapy and ended up having some success in their adult lives, but she helps them with a lot of emotional struggles, and it covered a lot of things. I think it's a really amazing book, and it was very respectful, and a lot of amazing growth happened in there. Highly recommend. I talked a lot about it in my most recent vlogs, but it was very gut-wrenching. There's a lot of trigger warnings though. Everything under the sun is in this book, like sexual abuse, physical abuse, neglect, everything is in this book, and it all happens to kids. But I do recommend picking it up if you are able to handle it and you would like to read it. Really recommend. So the last book I'm going to recommend will be One Tuesday Morning by Karen Kingsbury. This one is about the Twin Towers when they crashed, and this is a Christian fiction. It follows one woman who her husband is missing during that time, and one man who wakes up unconscious or with amnesia, and his wife, who is this woman, he's claiming that she is not his wife, so they have to work through, is she his wife, is not, and what's going on. It's very interesting and very gut-wrenching, and it talks a lot about the Twin Towers, and then the sequel is continuing on from that story. Really great one, really recommend picking it up. And then my own personal reading for this will be The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I don't have my copy right here in this room, but that's okay. Very excited to read it, and I will be buddy reading it with Absinthe Reader, Stephanie over there, and I will also be reading it with Antonisha Lachey. So very excited to read it with both of those ladies. So it'll be a good time, and I cannot wait. So please let me know down below what you'll be reading for Buzzwordathon this month, what word you picked for a time of day, and I will check it out, and hopefully I can add it to my TBR. Also, if you are new here, you can always like if you would like to. You can also like it if you are not new here, and you can subscribe if you are new here as well. And I will see you next time in another video. Bye for now.